I just saw the world's first printed car rolling off the printing press. Yes, I said printing press. Using a new kind of printer, a little-known Minnesota company has printed an entire car. It gets 200 miles per gallon, goes 70 miles per hour, and is built to last for 30 years. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. All the exterior components of the car, including the windows, were created using 3D printers. If it wants to make another car, the company simply hits the print button again. Now I realize this seems like something you'd see in a science fiction movie, yet remarkably, it's real and exists today, and it promises to revitalize U.S. manufacturing by leveling the playing field with China by eliminating their cheap labor advantage. This new technology is similar to clicking the print button on a computer and sending a document to an inkjet printer. But the difference is that the ink in a 3D printer is a material that's deposited in layers until a solid object emerges. It can print plastic, metal, glass, even concrete. This is one of those rare transformational technologies, like the internet or the printing press, that could change the way we live, work, and play. According to the Market Oracle, this is the 21st century's laser printer, with the power to forever alter industries in the same way that desktop publishing changed the print industry during the 1980s. Business Insider calls it the next trillion-dollar industry. And for those wealth builders who jump in early on this emerging trillion-dollar industry, the rewards could be extraordinary. Because the list of possible uses for this transformational breakthrough is already long and growing. While recently reading The Economist, I came across a story about a PhD student at MIT named Peter Schmidt who has been 3D printing a grandfather clock. He removed the plastic clock from a 3D printer, hung it on the wall, and pulled down the counterweight. It started ticking. And right after that, I learned from Popular Mechanics that TV personality Jay Leno uses a 3D printer to make custom hard-to-find parts from scratch for his collection of classic cars. Leno scans the part he needs and then prints an exact plastic replica of it. The New York Times reports that a California startup is building houses with its 3D printer. Its printer, which would fit on a tractor-trailer, would use patterns delivered by computer, squirt out layers of special concrete, and build entire walls that could be connected to form the base of a house. And even more remarkable, a tiny biotech company is exploring using 3D printing to create entire human organs. The printing device would lay down layers of living cells that could be molded into a bladder, kidney, or heart. Incredible, isn't it? But the tastiest use of 3D technology goes to the University of Exeter, where scientists have developed a 3D printer that prints not ink, plastic, metal, or concrete, but layers of delicious chocolate. It's no wonder that SmartPlanet calls 3D printing the amazing portable factory, because with this brilliant innovation you can print your own car, your own drugs, your own food, and even your own house. Need a piece of jewelry, or need a spare part for your car or lawnmower? Soon you will be able to fire up the 3D printer and make one from composite materials. The fact is, this 3D printing breakthrough is so massive that it could trigger the downfall of the Made in China era. New research by the Boston Consulting Group found that mass production within the U.S. could be far cheaper than producing and shipping products from overseas. 3D printing will bring about the emergence of a new Made in America era by revitalizing America's faltering manufacturing industry, sending Chinese workers packing as American companies set up their own portable factories. And this groundbreaking manufacturing technology isn't just limited to big corporations or university research departments with deep pockets. In fact, the little-known Minnesota company that printed the car has recently released a home version of the 3D printer for under $1,300. It allows every one of us to be a designer, inventor, and factory owner, and maybe even millionaire, inspiring grand visions of a future where everyone prints out their own children's toys, replacement car parts, household objects, or musical instruments. Soon, as prices continue to drop, the 3D printer could be as common as a screwdriver in Henry homeowner's garage. The Economist says, three-dimensional printing may have as profound an impact on the world as the coming of the factory did. Just as nobody could have predicted the impact of the steam engine in 1750, or the printing press in 1450, or the transistor in 1950, it is impossible to foresee the long-term impact of 3D printing. But the technology is coming, and it is likely to disrupt every field it touches. Wired magazine says this new printing technology could trigger the next industrial revolution, and yet most people are still unfamiliar with the concept. That means you have a massive wealth-building opportunity to get an early advantage on this market before the average investor gets a clue. And if history is any indication, you could turn a mere 10,000 into over 3.7 million from 3 explosive American companies that are at the forefront of this incredible 3D printing technology. Here's how. It's happened before with transformational technological innovations. According to a University of Chicago study, investors early to the game made massive gains from these cutting-edge innovators. 37,000% on Container Corp, 37,000% from Truax Coal, 30,000% from International Paper, 23,500% on Douglas Aircraft, 24,000% from Zenith Radio, and over 21,000% from Minneapolis Honeywell. Any one of these companies could have turned a mere 10,000 into over 2 million. Why did these firms succeed in times of economic hardship? Simple. Because the founders recognized a market need and filled it. Consider Zenith Radio. It was a cutting-edge technology back in the 1930s. It was the Apple of its day with radio breakthroughs. By the end of the 1920s, 1/3 of U.S. households owned a radio. By 1933, that number climbed close to 60%. Early in wealth builders who were savvy enough to invest in Zenith back in 1932 could have made as much as 24,000%. That turns 10,000 into over 2.4 million. And if history's any clue, as we pull out of this current economic slump, huge tech advances will abound. Like this amazing 3D printer that could transform our world